Well, a historic voice in Atlanta is celebrating a major milestone. The Atlanta Voice newspaper is marking 60 years after spending decades documenting Black Atlanta, the civil rights movement, and the stories many larger outlets overlooked. Now the family-owned publication is looking ahead to its next chapter in a digital area. So let's go ahead and take a closer look with Chief Operating Officer of the Atlanta Voice, Richard Dunn. Thank you so much for being here, Richard.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You're welcome. So honored to have you here. So, Richard, 60 years is such an accomplishment. Looking back, what do you think are the paper's greatest accomplishments?
Oh man, I mean the sustainability.
Yeah.
Any business lasting 60 years is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
The fact that we are a family-owned business and going into third generation leadership is an accomplishment. Family dynamics make doing business together very interesting from time to time.
I bet.
So, but more importantly, our contribution to the community and the city that we all love and that we serve, it's been a great ride so far.
Yeah, and talking about the contributions over the years, starting in 1966 in the civil rights era, you know, some issues were overlooked, as I said earlier, not covered as diligently as they should have been. And then coming into today, you know, there's still inequalities, and you are uniquely positioned to cover things like, for instance, voting rights. Talk about that legacy over the years and the issues you helped bring to light and that you're still looking to help bring to light. Yeah,
I mean, my grandfather started this business, as you said, during the civil rights movement, and it was an outlet for African Americans to get their story told. Oftentimes, you know, the issues that were important to our community were just not discussed. And so, oddly enough, 60 years later, that mission, the mission of the Voice is a people without a voice cannot be heard.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to be here 60 years later, and that motto has even more meaning, more impact, and the most interesting thing about that motto now is that it has a need for a more larger community. You know, so not only are we serving African Americans, we're serving all marginalized people here in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, talk more about that, how the audience has changed over the years and so how you've had to adapt.
I mean, all those who benefited from the civil rights movement in current political times are now being attacked, right? And so we are proud to be an outlet for those voices, to be a space where they can tell their side of the story and it be neutral and not so biased, you know? So we're proud to continue that legacy, not only for this first 60 years, but looking forward for the next 60 years as well.
And of course, not only has your audience changes, the way people consume news has changed, which has been a struggle across the industry. Here at 11 Alive, the newspapers, the AJC went completely digital. So how have you all adapted and managed to survive over the past 60 years? Yeah,
so one of the things we have transitioned to is from, we still print though, by the way. But we have toned down our printing capacity. So my grandfather bought a building in the 70s, and so we owned our own press and we printed on paper for years.
So cool.
We have now converted what we used to call the printing press or the printing room into a digital studio, right? So to your point, media is at it delivers at the speed of thought, right? And everybody's on their phone. So we have put the tools in place so that we can continue to print, continue to do things on the internet, but also move very fast to the phone.
So are you committing to continuing the print edition? Because I know so many people love having that paper in their hands.
Yeah, so interesting enough, I don't think we can ever get away with it. The nostalgic of it all. And just like vinyl, it seems like print is also kind of coming back. To a degree, the internet's so crowded, it's also good to have a print publication to go along with that.
Yeah, definitely. And how are you making sure you're reaching those communities that are your target audience?
Well, the cool thing about digital is that you got data, right? So we maximize the data that we use to make sure that we're reaching it. But we also are active in the community. We pay attention.
Got it.
And you know, if you got your ear to the street, people are going to tell you what they need to hear about. Or you're going to pick up on things that they're missing, and you make sure that you find a way to deliver resources and solutions to them.
Richard, thank you so much.